want to bring in royal historian Barry MacKenzie now. Barry, hello to you. Nice to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Charles has been here 19 times, but his visit today will be the first as king. And we are not in ordinary times. How significant is this visit? Can you put it into perspective for us?
Yeah, I mean, as the segment before suggested, this is only the third time we've ever seen this happen. So it's historically significant because we're not accustomed to having the sovereign here to open Parliament personally on a regular basis and haven't seen it since 1977. So there's that element as well. But because of the ongoing challenges with international relations, particularly here in North America, I think there's something very, very symbolic about all of this today. And we're going to see this week unfold with symbols that are very important to our constitutional tradition, and I think are going to send a very strong message to the world, and particularly to our neighbors to the south.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because as many have observed, the world will be watching this visit, and even people here in Canada who may not be big supporters of the monarch are all for someone standing up for Canada. So given that, what do you think he will say, either with words or through his actions, about Canada's sovereignty?
I think this is going to be a continuation of what the King has been doing for the last number of months. Since these sorts of challenges have really presented themselves in the aftermath of the inauguration of Mr. Trump, we're going to see soft power at its best, right? We know that the King is limited in the sort of political statements that he can make. I mean, that's the nature of constitutional monarchy, and that's the beauty of it. But I think that the symbolism that we're going to see, the references, of course, in a speech that will have been written by the government, not by the King himself, the actual opening of Parliament, the speech from the throne, it's going to be filled with references, I suspect, and expressions of soft power that are going to remind the world that Canada is a sovereign nation. And it's going to be a real, educative moment, I think, for a lot of Canadians of my generation who haven't seen this happen in our lifetimes. We haven't seen the sovereign really at the pinnacle of the political side of national life ever before in this way. So it's going to be a really important moment, and I'm glad the world's watching, and I hope a great number of Canadians are too, because it's a real reminder of how our system works and of how in situations like this, having this ancient tradition, which has the respect of the world in many ways, can come in very handy.
How will Ottawa roll out the red carpet, if you will? How are they going to welcome the King and Queen here?
I mean, the fact that we're seeing the streets lined with flags, and the landau with the RCMP horses, all of these special Canadian traditions, many of which are sort of a reflection of what you might see in the UK during the state opening of Parliament, for example, but which we do in our own Canadian way. I mean, that's what makes this extra special, particularly because we don't see it happening very often. So we're going to see, despite the fact, obviously, with construction on Parliament Hill, things look a little bit differently. We're going to see all of the sort of bells and whistles, the stops being pulled out in a full acknowledgement, not just of the state opening of Parliament, but also the fact that this is the first time we've seen the King in Canada since his accession. It's regrettable it's going to be a brief visit, but we look forward to a time in the future when his health and schedule permits him to be able to come and really get around and see people. But it's encouraging to see the interest that this is generating amongst the Canadian people, and I hope it's a positive step forward in terms of our continued understanding of the role that the Crown plays in our lives.
Barry MacKenzie is a royal historian. Thank you so much, Barry. Glad you could be with us this morning. So we will have special coverage of King Charles in Canada when he arrives at the nation's capital today. And again for tomorrow's speech from the throne, delivered by King Charles III. Our special coverage will be hosted by Omar Sachedina and Vashi Kapelis. That gets underway at 9 a.m. Eastern.